My name is Garrett, and this is Tailgate Talk. On today's episode, we have a very special guest. He's been to Victory Lane multiple times. He's been with Christian X, Ryan Truex, Ty Gibbs, Brandon Jones, and the list will keep on going. And he now is the car chief of Taylor Gray, the number 54 Racing X Infinity for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's been an absolute blast interviewing him. His name is Manny. You can find his stuff on Instagram and TikTok at Trackside Chief. He's been an absolutely blessing to interview him, and we just want to give a huge shout out to him. Make sure you guys go follow his stuff. Without further ado, let's kick this off. Good.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Morning.
What's going on, brother?
How you doing?
Not bad. Pretty early out here.
It's pretty good out here too.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
I really so my name's Alpha. This is my brother Garrett, and just to really start it, we just started this show, and he's a giant Gibbs fan, and he's a giant Ty Gibbs fan, and
Okay.
yeah, him reaching out to you was awesome, and you responding was even cooler. And I just want to reiterate, thank you for having us on the show. And just to get into it, what made you say, yeah, NASCAR is my calling? Like this is what I want to do.
Well, it's kind of was a spiritual thing, really. I was working at Discount Tire at the time. I think I was like 22, and it was kind of like this is like no joke. I had like an outer body experience that day. I remember it so vividly. It was like I was up on the wall watching myself just maneuver around while I was having these visions. But it kind of came full circle through that vision because I've always watched NASCAR via TV. My family's not big racing fans. I was kind of like the only one that drew to racing. I mean, it was either NASCAR or it was arena cross. So I was really just drawn to motorsports, period.
Awesome.
We saw that you attended the NASCAR technical institution.
Mhm.
How was that pretty difficult? Did you find your click? Did anything really stand out there?
No, it wasn't hard. Really, I chose NTI because when I was in high school, they had recruiters coming to my high school looking for people to come to the school, and my brothers went right out of high school, and I was like, man, I don't think I'm ready to leave the house right out of high school. And kind of following their example in the situations that they were in, I kind of held off, and so I've always got real world experience before I did anything in life, just to see if I like it. So, from 18 to 25, all I did was eat, sleep, and breathe working on cars. It was changing oil, working at oil lube shops, doing brake jobs in my mom's driveway. I mean, I was cranking out probably 3 or 4 cars a day some weeks.
That's
And,
awesome. That's
yeah, it's just people was like, man, I need a brake job. Come on, $20. I got you. I'm a pass slap the word out of this thing and send you on your way.
shit.
So
$20, I would be coming by too. That's a good deal. That's a great deal. I'm like, heck yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool.
I mean, even on top of that, my first car was a 77 Nova, and my dad, he helped me buy it for $300, and all it needed was a fuel pump. So that was like my first project car to get my feet wet and trying to build something and make something run. So we rebuilt the engine in it. We probably did 3 motor swaps in that thing because everything that I put in it was wore out, and I just kept blowing it up and keeping my foot in it. But between that and helping my brothers with their classic cars too was some good experience too.
That's a
But
beautiful.
the main thing that stood out at NTI is just the fact that when I went, I had so much experience that I'm not gonna say I kind of knew it all, but I kind of had an idea of what I was doing, and I just didn't know and understand the terminology that was being used. So that was the main reason why I chose NTI, was just learning the terminology when it comes to work on cars, and the kind of the parts and pieces that we use in racing now.
That's really cool.
That's really neat. Yeah.
Like, there's a what's the one out here in Arizona?
I think it's Arizona Technical Institute, ATI, I believe. It's something around those lines, and they have a NASCAR program. And when we were doing some digging, we saw that you went through there, and that was really cool. And for folks who don't know anything really about NASCAR, they're kind of new to it. How would you explain to people like what a car chief is? Like, what do you do, and how did you get there? You know what I mean? Like what made you, like, how did you get to that exact spot and make you excel and make you like stand out really?
Man, it's very hard to explain what a car chief is. Um, because really nobody has had. I'm trying to get the insight that I'm trying to give through my social media page is something nobody has ever done or ever seen. So the way I explain it is pretty much so you got the head coach, which is the crew chief. Well, I'm like the assistant head coach. So everything that he wants, he funnels to me, and then I tell my guys kind of what we want, what we're looking for, and I also set the schedule for how the cars move and when we. So trying to see how I can. So yeah, pretty much I just set the schedule for the week to week event that we're going to for the cars that we have, and stay in constant communication with other leadership people who kind of may be like the finish fab guys. If we need work with them, I schedule that to get stuff done that we need to get done to our car if it's not right. But I really, man, when I first started racing, I knew nothing about the positions. I didn't know that there were road guys. I didn't know it was shop guys. I just knew it was just racing to me.
Right.
So as I progressed through racing, it was okay. Well, I think I can do that job. Let me go for that. So I started in the shop um, as a shop helper part time, and then it kind of progressed to a full time position, working in the front suspension room, the rear suspension room, and then when we started the ARCA program, I became the main mechanic on that. And then it was once I got on the Xfinity side again, it was, man, I really want to be a car chief. I feel like I can do the job. But I got turned down so many times for road jobs. And then it's like anything, it's a business. Whoever is the most comfortablest with who they're giving the job to is who's going to get the job, no matter how long you've been there or how well you know the parts and pieces. So I kind of had to, you know, fight my way through that mentally because I felt like it was kind of unfair, but it is what it is. I'm the kind of person that it doesn't matter. I'm gonna keep digging no matter what. And so last year when the job became open, Tyler Allen, who's Ty's crew chief now, he started a year after I did at Gibbs, and we used to have conversations all the time. And so he kind of was like, they a lot of crew chiefs watch everybody and see who's working, see who's the workers, see who's not the workers. And, I just stay working. I'm the biggest team player on Gibbs. Like anytime somebody needs help and I'm done with my stuff, I'm like, what you need me to do? So it was kind of one of those things like he knows me, I know him. And he finally was like, hey, I want you to be my car chief.
That's awesome.
You've been with Joe Gibbs Racing for 12 years. What's
Hmm.
the biggest thing you've learned from working there that you can?
Well, I mean, perseverance, man, is probably the biggest. I mean, just fighting through certain situations that I felt like I deserved, which that kind of humbles you when you think you deserve something and you don't get it. But yeah, it's just you got to persevere. through any situation that you may encounter. And I'm so competitive, and I get so emotional when like things on track go wrong. Like I remember it was back when I was on with Harrison Burton, and we were fighting our way into the last playoff spot in the round of, I think the round of 8, and yeah, we got spun out by Sam Mayer in Kansas, and I like went off because it was unnecessary. But just perseverance is the biggest thing.
Well, I really want to bring up something about, how you guys like go about that. But to circle back to how you started with ARCA and everything, you've been to victory lane multiple times with a lot
Mhm.
of really good drivers. But you started in ARCA. Did you work with anyone like that made you really like? Who was one driver that you worked with that's like, you know what? I hope to work with this guy one day, or I really enjoyed working with him because I know that you worked with Alex Bowman. Is that correct?
Mhm. Yeah,
And
that's right.
actually, my one of my favorite drivers. I'm a big fan of Alex Bowman in the 48 car, and I know that he was driving for a different organization at the time. I know that you're with Ty Gibbs now. I know that you've been to Victory Lane in Xfinity and Truck Series. You've seen it all almost. And now you're in Cup Series. But with all of those drivers, like who's someone that you really enjoyed working with? Like how
Um,
different with ARCA and then Cup Series?
Man, it's wild because um, a lot of every driver is so different, but they're all the same. They just like to have fun, and some are cool, calm, and collective more than others. Um, oh, just to clarify, I'm Xfinity. I'm not in Cup.
Correct, correct.
Just yeah, Xfinity. But I think Alex Bowman came super early in my career. Um, and yeah, we won 3 or 4 races with him, and that was pretty fun. Um, I really, a lot of people in the Gibbs organization don't like Christian Eckes, but he's pretty good. He's pretty good, and he may not show it being in a college machine, but when I was his jack man, it was pretty cool because you knew you had a chance every week with him, and I would say probably Harrison Burton's probably been my favorite because he's just so chilled, and I know his dad, his mom, been up to their farm here in Huntersville, and yeah, he's super chilled and so laid back. He's just a down home racer.
That's
That's
awesome.
nice.
That's really neat. And yeah, just working your way up and everything like that. It's just like for me, I got into NASCAR last year. Like he's been
Hmm.
doing it for a while, and just like you said, you kind of just you just fall in love with this sport. I got swallowed by this sport. I just try to like learn it on every facet. It's just like it was like a weekly high every time I watch this thing, and
Right, right.
it's just insane. And like the drama and just everything, and just like what's one thing that like you would say that you struggle with or your team struggles with or like Joe Gibbs and your facet like struggle with? What's one track, what's one area that you guys struggle in, and how do you guys beat that? How do you guys work around that?
Man, it's I've yeah for 12 years I've been there. We have. I'm not gonna say we've never struggled at a particular track, but man, we've won over 200 races at multiple tracks. It's kind of I've never really seen us struggle, but the tools that we have to work through anything that we may have a question with, um, is our tools are incredible. TRD provides us with awesome tools. I mean that kind of help keep us advanced further than other teams. That's why we're running, you know, top 10 every week. Yeah, our league per se is is not even across the board. It's kind of like 15 cars who are the dominant cars, but man, it's we kind of do our homework ahead of time, and we kind of get a lot of information from the Cup side to kind of help us with planning for our setups and planning for just any situations we may have. Kind of like TRD is there with the trucks, there with us, and there with Cut. Well, trucks would usually run before us, so there's a guy that looks at all the situations from the night before and analyzes that information and then kind of brings it into us race day and tells us what happened and like whether two tires is the way to go for a certain situation. He kind of give us that information to help with our decision making skills with during the race.
That's really cool. I didn't even like not knowing all the little details and then finally like getting the opportunity to learn about every little detail that goes into just a team alone.
Hmm.
So interesting, and I'm very excited to see more about your progress on social media. Uh,
Yep.
what's been the craziest thing you've seen go down during a race? You've
During the race, well, so at Kansas, it's 2012 when we had Alex. It's probably one of my favorite situations to talk about. Um, we were leading the race, like dominating. We didn't have a chance to win the championship because we had too many DNFs. But that's back when they used to do live pit stops in ARCA, and we uh, we lost probably like 3 or 4 positions because we were trying to fix the car to make it better. But man, I don't know what Paul Andrews did to this car, but they were 2 wide, 3 wide racing coming down the front stretch at Kansas. And Alex had such a run coming out of turn 4. He past all 3 cars on the flat and then just checked out and won the race in dominant fashion. It was pretty exciting. That's when I knew he was special. Like to be able to do that, because not a lot of drivers would make that move. They kind of would hit the brakes and fall in line and
right.
wait for the next opportunity. But he had no fear back then, and ARCA back then it was open motors too, so those motors were 800 horsepower. So Alex is a high horsepower driver for sure.
That was a year right out of you getting out of school too, huh?
Hmm.
That probably was
That's
such a surreal feeling to like
literally.
witness that.
Oh yeah.
Um, if you could have, if you could be part of any crew in NASCAR history or even present, who would you choose?
Oh man, I've never thought about that. Um, well, I can't say Kyle Busch's crew back in 2015, 2016, because I was part of that crew.
Wow.
Um, I would say probably Tony Stewart's championship winning crew. I think it was back in 2002 he won the championship,
Yeah, I
I
believe
believe.
so. O2 with them. Yep.
And that crew had so many people that still work at Gibbs today. Like Adam Stevenson, he was the crew chief for Christopher Bell. He was one of the lead engineers on that crew way back in the day. I probably would say that crew probably had a ton of fun just from the people that I personally know that was a part of that.
That's it's good. That's a good year.
Yeah,
And
like
crew, like
yeah, and
top crew to
and you
pick.
could
Hard to beat that one.
yeah, and you can see literally like you just said, like Tony Stewart's, like some of the crew is still at Gibbs now, and you can literally see their work resonate with some of the drivers.
Hmm.
Like he is almost like dominant on all facets now. Like he's like road course, short oval, super speedway. He's always there now, and he's like the triple win. We were there in March at Phoenix at the Shriners 500 when he pulled that off, and I was ear to ear. That was my first NASCAR event I went to, and it's just like
Hmm.
see how it gives. It's just like every car is just kind of like it has your like you have to be alert. And speaking about being alert, like there's a lot of moves happening in Xfinity right now, and there's a lot of
Mhm.
drivers that I like to watch a lot. And one driver I like to watch, and I've had my eye on him, is the sixth car in ARCA of LeVar Scott, who is now getting the call up to Xfinity at Dover. What's your
Mhm.
thoughts on that? There's a couple of drivers actually, but what's your thoughts on the now 45 car?
Man, that's I mean, kudos to him, man. He's been putting in a lot of work and a lot of time at the simulator to grow as a racer, man. It's to me the diversity program is kind of how NASCAR keeps a diverse base of people around. Yeah, LeVar Scott, he's put in a lot of work, and I see him from time to time at the racetrack, and I don't know him, but I know that he's doing whatever he can to kind of advance his career. I know we have Raja Cruz. He's going to be racing this weekend in the 32 for Jordan Anderson, and yeah, like I said, man, when you got good people and the sponsorships to back you, and you're proving it every week that you belong in the next level, man, to take that next step, that's pretty that says a lot about him and his growth in racing.
Absolutely. And I love that you brought up Raja too, because we're big fans of him. And when he won in Nashville this year, we were awesome to see. Like we were happy to see him get that guitar. Like we were really happy to see him get that. Like
Absolutely.
yeah, and yeah, just having having all this like craziness build up. What's your like just pondering your right here. What's your thought on the engagement and how do you think like it's like looking for the fans on the in-season challenge for the Cup Series? Like how do you think like when you look at that, do you think that's a good thing for the engagement? Do you think that's oh we can do something better, to get fans in that like, don't see these things?
Man, I actually when they announced that they were going to do it, I was like, man, that's just adding another. But then once I thought about it, it's like, well, fans pay attention to the drivers that they know.
Correct.
Well, this is a way to add an extra ingredients of drama.
Yeah.
Like Ty Dillon, he's been the biggest junk talker this whole time, talking about other
Yeah,
drivers,
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
which has been super funny to listen to. And but the last lap drama when those drivers who are competing for the next round when they get around each other, it's like anything goes. Like, but there's the good part about it is everybody stays in good spirit about it.
Right.
It's nothing has really. I'm pretty sure when it comes down to the final two, that it's probably going to be something different if somebody spins the other person out for that $1 million. But you
Oh,
got
yeah.
to think about it. Like I'll spin my grandma out for $1 million too.
yeah, I'm with you
I
on
mean,
that.
yeah, it's that's.
I think
But
my mom would be upset if I don't spin around. Down the line.
For
Oh,
yeah.
do you think that's something that should be brought down to X Infinity too?
no, because you don't have that. You don't have that. Anybody can win every weekend, like in Cup. Like it's so even across the board in Cup because the horsepower is lower and everybody has the same chassis. Every they may have different bodies, but everybody has the same chassis. So it's hard to and Michael McDowell and Spire, they've come out of nowhere and they get a lot of information from Chevy that helps them run good. So these manufacturers they're all about sharing information to across the board to other manufacturer teammates so everybody can run good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was a really good point that you brought up with like Spire coming out of like out of really nowhere, like how they're running amazing, how like just a few adjustments and just like kind of like talking to your driver. I think Spire has a really decent team right now with the 77 car. He's a big 77 car fan and he's he's a little aggressive is one word to say about him for sure, but yeah. I think that's really cool. And one thing I wanted to bring up was in your point of view, like honestly, like almost like in my point of view, you're a veteran of this sport.
Mhm.
Prefer to work with younger drivers that are just hungry, veterans that know all the tricks and tools, kind of the intermediates. Like, what do you prefer to work with? Like when you're like just waking up in the morning, like, oh, this is the kind of driver I want with.
Man, honestly, I'm kind of that developmental kind of person. Like I love the young drivers that are hungry because there's an element that comes with them because they've never been in most of these situations that they get into on the racetrack, and you can. I'm not saying I coach them, but just to see their growth and their progress. Like even when Ty started in ARCA, you knew he was young and he was just out there wide eyed making laps and just dominating because we had we had a lot of help to put in motion the things that we needed to win. But sometimes you have to show them that pull the reins back on them to say, hey, in this situation, you shouldn't you shouldn't run that hard. Like so, working with the younger drivers, man, and I've known Ty since he was 13 years old. I've known Taylor since he was like 12. I love Taylor Gray. And, I known Riley, he came in the sport, he came to Gibbs when he was 16, 17 years old. So, yeah, working with the younger drivers definitely and seeing their growth and their progression. Like even to see Alex when I'm walking around the track today, like he stops and talks to me and asks how I'm doing and what I got going on. It may not be a phone conversation, but we still engage when we see each other. But yeah, just to see that progression, man, is pretty awesome. A veteran driver, there's nothing you can really tell them. Like they already know they've been in those situations that they know how to get out of per se. So yeah, definitely the younger drivers is the type of driver I like to work with.
Awesome.
Um, we used to wrestle, and before we wrestled, we used to do warm ups or uh, I used to listen to music and like kind of like isolate myself for a little bit before the match, trying to get my mindset right. Is there anything that your team does to get you guys prepared
Or yourself,
or
even.
yourself?
No, because well, I can say when I was a pit crew guy, I used to listen to music all the time. Um, Preparing for a race, kind of like that game day deal. Before football, you put your headphones on and get in a little zone. But now, as a car chief, you're in the schedule for NASCAR is so back to back with everything. There may be 2 or 3 hours of downtime. Well, in those 2 or 3 hours of downtime, I'm trying to set the schedule for my guys for next week, sending emails, um, talking to my engineers and the crew chief about the direction they think they're going to go with, the adjustments we may have to put in the car before we roll to the grid. So really, it just depends on how practice goes. Like these past couple of weeks, in Chicago we wrecked, so we had to go to a backup car, and that took from the time we that took from 10:30 to 2:30 to get done and finally go out to the grid for the race. And then last week we blew a motor, so we were I think we were sixth in practice, and then we blew a motor, and so we've been pretty busy these past couple weeks. Just working the kinks out, but yeah, it just depends on how the practice and all that goes. And but yeah, the lines of communication I have to be engaged at all times. I really can't listen to music like that, like I want to.
I get
It's
that.
just completely like what you're trying to say. It's like complete consistency. You're at this point. You've been so consistent where it's like I'm in the zone. Like I'm doing it. Like you know what I mean. Like and
Absolutely.
that's
And
all.
the thing with me, like growing up playing sports, which I used to wrestle back in high school too, so I know all about those warm ups.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, for me, some people are like they get super happy feet. I call it happy feet when it comes time for practice, and they want to be the fastest guy to make adjustments. Where I'm like, bro, we got 50 minutes to get this thing done. If we don't show up right, then we need to go back to the drawing board. But for the most part, we prepare pretty good and we show up already fast. So it's minor adjustments that we need to make to get where we need to be for race trim. So I'm cool, calm, and collective. I don't get ants in my pants or happy feet when it comes to making adjustments during practice.
Coach.
Yeah.
Like a coach would. Like a coach would.
Yeah.
I'm pointing, saying, "Hey, I need you over here. Let's do this."
And just to
Which
circle,
that's been a learning curve, being the guy to manage the practice. Like the crew chief tells me what he wants, and then I have to be the guy that I've done my research, put things in place on paper to where all I have to say is, "Hey, we need to move this back 6 inches, move this forward 6 inches, and put the hood down and roll out and see what we have."
I love that.
And then before you coming on the show, we asked you to bring one item. Were you possibly able to bring that one item on?
Yeah, it's this thing right here. It's a laptop computer, man. This is the brain of the operation for Joe Gibbs Racing, and it has everything we need to stay in communication. It has all of our setups. We have a huge database that was built by an engineer, and it keeps everybody in line with setups, and it's pretty much a login system, both past and present, for what we have going on as an organization. And I honestly do not leave the house without that thing.
It's a black box. You can't.
Yeah, you cannot leave
In
without
my
it.
sight all the time. I love that.
Right.
And Manny, I seriously want to appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk.
Absolutely.
And I'm really gonna pay attention a lot more to what you have to offer.
Yeah. Do you want to give any shout outs or let the people know where to find you at?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to my wife because she puts up with my busy schedule every week. But yeah, you can find me on my social media page that I just started last week, really, and it's called Trackside Chief, both on Instagram and on TikTok. And I think I'm gonna be using TikTok probably more because it's shorter films I can make to put out what the content that I want to put out. But yeah, I'm after last week, kind of seeing the growth of it, I was like, man, I really got to get some AI glasses to give some real first person encounters with my hand.
That would be really sick.
Really cool.
So that's what I'm gonna have coming to everybody next week when I start putting out more content.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on the show again.
Literally.
Man, thanks for having me, man. It's been a blast. It's probably my second interview that I've ever done, really. And yeah, I'm super proud and super happy that y'all picked me to come on y'all show.
I hope we have you again, and hopefully it's after another victorious win or something like that. Because we see you a lot in your future, and we want to follow you the rest of your career.
I see you going up to Cup soon, to be honest.
I want to hear that
deserve it.
call.
You
I want to
deserve
hear
it at
that call.
point.
Appreciate it, brothers. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Absolutely. You too.
All right, bye.